if you don't mind. It's on right now. No, I was just talking to Ryan, telling him how the last couple of days I've been hearing voices, right? I mean, that's probably not a good thing to admit, beyond what I normally hear. So I'm sure if they don't think I'm crazy now, they probably definitely will, because now I've been hearing voices, and it sounds like I told Victoria, it sounds like some of the Fae are actually calling out. And I've heard their voices before, and they've been saying, "Are you ready? Are you ready? It's just about here. It's almost here." And I'm thinking, well, am I hearing angelic voices? Am I dying or something right now? And they're like, no. It's almost here. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful, they said. And I thought about it, and what do you guys think?
Well, it all has to do with the sun. I don't know whether you've looked at the sun today. It's so bright out there. You're going to need dark sunglasses to walk outside because it is so bright. From everything that I'm watching, the links that I put up on Telegram with the X-flares, every time that there is an X-flare, I see activity on the sun. I had another thought about all of this, and some of you guys might understand if I say what I'm about to. If, when you were captured or you were kept here against your will on planet Terra, when the reptilians took over the soul catcher and started reusing your souls over and over again, your higher self was kept somewhere else.
Separated. And we knew this because of Hunter, too.
Yes,
and we'll talk about that in a minute, but go ahead.
Your higher self was kept somewhere else, and you had to learn to connect with that part of yourself. What if your higher self was placed on the sun to protect it from these beings while you were down there on Terra, having to go through this cycle? And your higher self, along with other gods and goddesses that have been kept on the sun, are about to break free and try and reconnect with you. You, Marjorie. You, John. You, Sandra. It's happening. That's what I feel is going on up there. That your higher selves are about to connect with you on a level because you were separated from that part of yourself down here. And they have always been part of Father, who is the Son. The portal's a part of Him. This is what I'm saying.
And this is the aspect that because you know that your soul can be segmented.
Yes.
We're living proof that your soul can be segmented.
Yes.
We control a portion of the soul, and your higher self is that being which retains the most of the soul and is above you, and you're connected to them, right? And they always tell you to connect from within because that's, the kingdom of Father is within. Remember all this stuff?
And the reason why you were told the sun worship was bad was because they knew if you worshipped Father the right way and looked at the sun to talk to Him, you would be able to connect to your higher self all the time. And there is a being that has, in the last 2 years that I talked to, that I know used to be Aya. And she tells me things. And that part of her soul was separated, that eighth dimensional part of her was separated, and it's with Father, which is part of the Son, and that's why it is the Son of Gods. Plural. The Son of Gods. Not the Son of God.
And your divine aspects have been curtailed and most likely imprisoned in this huge, perfect circle of plasma, which also is a place where some of or a lot of these beings may dwell. Because we're seeing their faces now as they're involved in what appears to be cracking open their prison.
And they're fighting.
And this has always been about prison and imprisoned beings, including us. And it looks like the shackles are being undone. And it looks like Father is saying, go ahead, my children. Time to be free.
Yeah.
But I also believe that when that happens, whatever divinities that are being restricted in this are going to expulsate out in one huge CME, and it's going to just instantly change this quadrant of the galaxy,
Yes.
and all these beings will be free. And believe me, at that point, Terra is going to become a very, very wild and beautiful place in a very short time period. And I believe this matrix is simply going to alter or cease to exist and become a new one. It's the only thing that seems to make sense.
And those of you who were forced to live with your higher selves in that part of the galaxy, it makes sense. It makes sense to me that you would connect with other beings in this galaxy because your higher self is also here being protected at this time. Because as we know, the portals belong to Father. That is the connection to your downloads. Now, your downloads come from where?
But you know why now they're putting all this technology in the sky? To keep us from actually connecting to the real raw energy, which I am going to surmise at some point that sun is going to be safe to look at all the time.
It's really
because
bright today.
What they've done is they've created lenses over this thing so that you're seeing the sun, but you're seeing what they want you to see on the sun when they choose you. But you see, they can't keep it back, and it's a very difficult thing to do because most of this energy is coming through anyhow, and that's why you're seeing multiple suns, because they're trying to confuse the hell out of you.
Yeah.
They're trying every trick in the book they can to keep you from connecting to that sun out there.
They're frightened.
The real one, because once you connect,
Yeah.
it's over your higher self.
So here's what is coming to me. This whole higher self thing, once this being breaks free, if you were a powerful creator God once, and your higher self reconnects with you the way that you should have had the opportunity to always have that connection, one of the first things you're going to be doing is you're going to be pissed off and kept you from using the gifts that were given to you by the Creator. That's why they're breaking open.
Because you were supposed to be the one enjoying all of this life.
Yes.
Instead, they took a snippet of you and made you connected to this thing like you were a drone.
Yes.
Okay? And that drone is on the planet, and you're watching all this stuff, and you're like, you know, the drone is experiencing all these things, which is still me. Originally, Father would invite a portion of your soul to be on this planet so you could have a wonderful learning experience, and it was supposed to be a beautiful thing. Perhaps all of these beings were then forcibly imprisoned in this globe that they decided was going to be called the sun.
Part of their souls were ripped apart from them and placed here.
Yes.
And that's what your higher self is waiting for. It's waiting for that part of you to rejoin with.
When enough of us reconnect with our higher selves, I do believe that the egg will hatch. Or crack open. Whichever you want to. Who knows which direction this is going to go? I don't claim to have all the answers, and neither do the beings I commune with, but I'm here to tell you.
This is what they're terrified of, guys. Do you understand that?
It is absolutely mind-blowing, and it literally, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Whatever they're doing on this planet, it's part of the illusion. Just don't focus on anything right now.
They're trying everything
Father.
they can to keep you focused on this instead of watching what's going on in the heavens.
Look up.
Look up and connect with Father and connect from within, because if enough of us do that, I believe that you're going to see all of these beings
get off the merry-go-round
coming back, and they're going to be reinstated with us, and I believe that we're going to become basically something equivalent to superheroes, which is why they've been doing, you know, the whole Stan Lee thing for the last 70, 80 years.
Yes, they know.
Is that they have to make sure that, okay, well, if they're going to be these powerful beings, let's teach them wrong and right, and make sure that they're going to understand that you have to be this beautiful being that's, you know, like Superman, going to fly around and save everything. They're educating us into what is going to be our roles. We're going to be very much like that very soon.
And you see, once you can connect with your higher self, that's part of the download. Where do the downloads come from?
Your higher self.
When you look at the sun.
Yes.
And who's in the sun?
Most likely.
Most
Now, we don't know
likely.
for sure.
But this makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of us know for sure, believe me. And it's the same kind of things we've been saying, but even we don't know all the answers. Stephen A. Jones putting on some sunglasses today and going out and taking a peek.
Oh my gosh.
In between up and down on the sunglasses, if you know what I mean. It's good for you guys. We've been telling you since day one, and there's a lot of stuff we think that we know, and we're a little further along than most of humanity. But it doesn't mean we know everything. And if anyone tells you that their spirit knows everything, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
We're here to tell you we are you with a little bit of time that's gone by, basically, okay? And eventually, yes, you will recycle, but things are about to change, people.
Yeah.
Because if you connect to your higher self, you don't have to recycle. Because you're not going to die. Because you're eternal. That is, of course, unless you're a dark being that sold off a portion of your soul, so they now have control of you. Once you sell your soul, they can say, he can't leave because I own part of his ass, and we're going to keep that part here, so you're going to stay right there in the sun.
Yeah.
And we've been telling people that your higher self is on a higher transitory bliss plane. Well, I'm here to tell you one of the planes of existence are inside of the sun.
Yeah.
There are beings that live there. We've already told you this before, but now the Kellys have finally figured this out. We've mentioned it. Some of the spiritual beings that you guys commune with have actually told you this, but in pieces. And we're like, I wonder if they'll ever piece it together. And it took Ryan walking by the screen going, that looks like a big egg hatching to me. And it just instantly, Michael got a download. His ears started going. Then, boom, as soon as you heard it, you were like, oh, my God. We're tracing faces, but we're missing the big picture here.
The big picture is we are there. We are there.
I really think that you guys are on the right track here. It's close to what you're saying. It's not 100%. At least that's what I think. And Stephen A. Jones is no one's fool. But I'm also here to tell you that there are other aspects of this that are going to be so mind-blowing for all of you when it happens. And that's what we're trying to tell people. You know, this might be one of those video thingies, but we'll see how it goes. But poor Victoria, all she does is make videos nowadays, people.
No, but I don't mind that. And
and to the person who, from Germany, thank you. I realize how much $20 is. Thank you very much. And anyone, if you choose to give to this family, this is the kind of information that you're going to get. I mean, you're going to know things that less than 5% of the entire world know about right now. And with that knowledge alone is going to direct you to a much better life at some point. Because Father will be like, well, this one knows. With Father, it's all about knowledge.
Yeah.
And what you know and what you reveal. This is a game you people are playing.
This is your test, the final grade.
And we're your crib notes, baby.
Can you figure it out? We're your cheat sheet.
Well, I don't like to say cheat, because Father says this is legal. If you learn this information from other starseeds, that's okay too, because it may ignite you to become a starseed.
Well, when I say I don't...
We're your cliff notes.
Yeah,
that's better. Yes, okay. That's not like direct cheating, but... We are the Reader's Digest version for you.
So, here's something else. And I was asleep when I came to this realization. I can be doing a whole bunch of things, like I said, in my sleep, and I'm somewhere else doing them.
Lucid dreaming, we've talked about that too, people.
I understand
It's a skill.
I understand it perfectly now. Because if your part of you is connected to that higher energy source, to Father directly, then it makes sense that every time you look at it, you're going to get a download. It just makes sense. When I had this dream and I sat up and woke up, I came back and I laid down and I had another dream. And it was so strange because I know these beings can sometimes get in your head and leave you a message. Well, the postman came last night.
Yeah, the postman.
Okay,
the postman rings twice.
I literally had a dream of some creepy guy with dirty, long, stringy hair, driving one of those mail pickup trucks, those little boxes they drive. And
yeah, M-A-I-L, not M-A-L-E truck. That would be something with the, the swinging balls on the back,
Yeah.
Don't know.
Anyway, he had a gun in his hand, and he was hanging on to the
barrel?
The barrel end of the gun, while he's shaking it up and down at me and saying, "You guys always breaking the rules." And I looked in the truck and I said, "That doesn't belong to me. I don't know what game you're playing, so I can't walk down the stairs." His driver's side window, and when I did, he was frozen in time.
Now, I don't know what that means, but I sure as hell don't like greasy old mailmen coming to my door.
The message was, you're not supposed to learn these things. How did you learn it, sort of thing.
But that's not breaking the rules.
It's not
In
breaking
fact,
the
that is
rules.
staying well within the rules.
Yeah,
Isn't this supposed to be a way for us to figure out? Aren't they supposed to give us enough clues that if you are diligent and you study hard and you pay attention and you listen to things like from Stephen and other beings, that we actually have a chance to sort through this? And because of that knowledge level, we get to be potentially reconnected with our higher selves and free of this place at some point, or to be able to create the kind of world that we want to live on if we all collectively work together and say, nah, we're done with the evil. You're gone. You're going. If this involves a gigantic egg opening up or cracking open, and it turns out to be the sun, and that we are freeing people from what has been basically enslaved servitude for who knows how many generations, millions of years perhaps, maybe even billions. I couldn't even imagine what those beings, no wonder they all look like they're so upset when you look at these pictures, these images.
Nearly every image have either got their mouths open
And they're all blowing fire.
blowing fire, or they're in some pose like that, or cranking up the heat.
You had one image where the woman was upholding three heads that she took
heads.
off.
Uh-huh.
They're ready to come out. They've had enough. And I feel sorry for any dark being that, because
It gets in their way.
My goodness, when Father opens the gateway, that's a real good time for you to maybe be on your knees. I mean, you'll know when it happens. Every living sentient being on this planet will instantaneously know that something divine has happened.
Yeah.
And if that isn't enough to bend the knee to Father, then I don't know what's going to happen to you. You're going to be on some of the lowest dimensions. And I think that what's going to happen is it may take you millions of years to get off of some of these lower dimensions. Father has them for a reason, and for those truly diabolical and cunningly evil beings
that have been misrepresenting themselves on behalf of Father, boy, oh boy, once that egg cracks open, you guys
I think you're going to see the
mud.
reversal of
Oh,
imprisonment. And as Ryan has been warning everybody for a long time, the payback, can you imagine, the karmic payback that must take place? Every one of us that have been imprisoned on this planet are instantaneously going to become probably lesser gods, kings, rulers of other worlds, because we are owed a karmic debt that is beyond measure.
And that's what they're afraid of.
And
I'm
they
telling you
should
guys,
be afraid.
They know it's going to happen. Why do you think they're playing this merry-go-round, stupid carousel politics game? If you look at what we're saying here, then you should be getting off that carousel right now.
Because the carousel is keeping you going in circles. Meanwhile, you've got a lottery ticket that just won $150 million in Super Bowl, right? And it's in your pocket, and all you have to do is get off that merry-go-round and walk away from it and look back and say, boy, I'm glad I'm off that thing. I'm going to go up to the ticket owner and turn in my ticket, and I'm going to be wealthy beyond King Solomon's wealth, because we have been down here for generation after generation, imprisoned here, some of us for tens of thousands, even potentially millions of years.
And that's what they're afraid of.
They should be.
Because your higher self was once possibly, more than likely, a god or a goddess or a king or a queen or some higher life form.
And there will be...
And they have imprisoned you too.
At least millions of us, if not potentially billions. We really don't know how many people are still left alive on this planet, because they've been eliminating from top to bottom, from the most powerful to the least powerful. That's why they wanted your blood and DNA. Some of which they're using to create their own beings that would eventually be in servitude, but they may have little husks of whatever's left over of their souls, and these would be dark minions that would be in servitude to these beings for all eternity. That's what they were doing with the ones that they were going to leave alive.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to leave many of us alive.
No.
They wanted to just kill us all off,
Pets.
pack us all into the sun, pretty much, and just use that to energize everything they need.
And you see all the distractions, and this is why they're distracting you. So you will not connect to our Creator, who is part of the sun. And your higher self is there as well. I truly believe this now. I've been having the most amazing dreams, and this whole thing with the postman last night tells me that we're on the right track, because the gun he had in his hand wasn't pointed at me. It was pointed at himself.
Inverted again, yeah.
Yes, it was inverted again. So...
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, though, folks. You gotta admit. Yeah, we've been saying this. It's very close to this. And there are other events that are about to take place, because they still want to keep you distracted and watching what's going on the planet. But we're saying don't lose your glimpse of Father.
Yeah.
Don't lose it. You want to connect if you can. Even if you don't think you're connecting, keep trying. Because believe it or not, at some point, Father will be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'll talk to them.